Hello everyone, a very good morning to all of you guys. Today is 23rd of October and I welcome you all to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, let's start with the video. In today's video, we are going to take up the entire analysis of Hindu newspaper. We'll take all articles along with the background as well as way forward. And I also would like to tell you that you can download the explainer notes of this particular session from Telegram channel. Link for Telegram is given in description box in YouTube. So let's start with the discussion. So guys, first of all, let's take overview. So here we can see Israel pounds Giza as a humanitarian crisis unfolds in hospitals. So guys, we have seen that nearly 2 weeks have happened since first Hamas opened an attack on Israel and then counter attack has been started by Israel on Hamas. On this particular direction, many articles also we have taken up, but every day you are not required to follow this article that will come, which will be talking about that where attack has happened, what is the death toll and all such kind of a things. Okay. Then guys, on side, using official as government pracharak, wrong, khadge, political article, no need to go too much in detail in that. Okay guys, just one thing I want to show you here, that in the today's Hindu newspaper, there is this one notification that has come that there will be no issue of the Hindu on October 24, 2023 as Ayudha Puja is a holiday. So tomorrow, Hindu newspaper will not be published. Okay. Then Canada's actions are in violation of Vienna Convention, says Jaishankar. So basically, guys, we have seen this particular thing that recently Canada-India relations, they have seen a major irritant because Prime Minister of Canada earlier made an unsubstantiated allegation against India that India has played a role in killing of a Khalistani leader. Okay. After that particular thing, we have seen that we asked recently we have asked Canada to reduce the number of diplomats posted in India. So India said, the Canada said that it is the violation of Vienna Convention because Vienna Convention is on international on international relations, okay, diplomatic relations. It has been said. Now in this particular capacity, India had said this that this is not right. This is not right. In fact, there is a Canada which has been unable to provide safety and security to Indian diplomats also. Okay. Now, one particular thing, no need to go and track every statement, but one important thing is that on Saturday, we have discussed what is Vienna Convention, what are provisions of Vienna Convention, India's ratification of Vienna Convention. So, if you have seen, very good, no need to follow it every day, but if you have not seen, at least do one thing, download Saturday's synoptic notes. First article, I have discussed the Vienna Convention. So please do see that particular thing because for prelims examination, etc., such kind of a things could be asked. Then after that, moving on, in this particular direction, we have city section air quality worsens in Delhi. So every year this happens largely because of the winter pollution problem that happens because of geographical conditions, stubble burning in the states of Haryana, Punjab and Western Uttar Pradesh and all such things. Then further moving on, we have these advertisements, etc. Nothing important is given. Then guys, this regional section, largely political articles, etc. are there. So no need to really go in that much detail for exam point of view. Then coming in editorial section, the court's no fundamental right to marry is wrong. We'll take this particular article. Then roadblock to unity. Opposition parties need more than antagonism to BJP. Nothing relevant is given for exam point of view. Then restoring the ecological health of Himalayas. We'll take this particular article also for exam. The ascent begins. Now this article talks about recent ISRO's test flight for Gaganyaan. We'll take this particular article for examination. Then further, a massive intelligence failure in Israel. So guys, in start we have seen also this thing that this first Hamas carried attack on Israel and it was compared with Yom Kippur war because there also there was massive intelligence failure from the side of Israel that happened. Now it is being said that Israel's intelligence agencies, they call themselves as the most sophisticated agencies in the world, but why they were not able to know this particular thing in advance as thousands of rockets were launched in few minutes of time. So how such big intelligence failure happened? There might be so big mobilization that would have happened before that, but they were not able to know this particular thing. So this is something. Now guys, I have read this entire article, but article just is going in that particular context that how failure on multiple fronts happened, etc. For examination, our paper. No need to go too much in detail in this particular direction. Fine. Exam related substance is not that much. Then changing the script in Tamil Nadu. This is a state of play article. Fine. Political article. Then moving on in text and context. Moving on in text and context. Have earnings grown post pandemic? So here earnings in the month of April June 2019 compared with April June 2022 2023 has been given. We'll take relevant parts of this particular article also. Then why Wall Street firms using messaging apps are coming under regulatory probe. Okay. So recently guys, it has happened that USA's Security Exchange Commission SEC, it is investigating, fine, USA's SEC, it is investigating some of the firms, okay, which are using the messaging apps. Okay, so what is SEC's order, why they have issued an order, which of which particular apps are in question, which are being investigated, such details have been given. Okay, again, no need to go too much in detail in that because US SECs, okay, and those allegations are largely being discussed here. Then further moving on, to curb evasion, EU report calls for 2% global wealth tax. We'll take this particular article for examination. Then we have largely the political statements, political articles in this particular direction. Then assembly polls 2023. No need to go in this particular page for your exam. Then further, two experiments conducted by ISRO paved the way for Gaganyaan. We'll take this particular article also for examination. Then army to start phasing out Cheetah Chetak helicopters from 2027. Okay, and in this capacity, indigenous light utility helicopters will be brought. Now, plaques with the names of Modi, Vice Chancellor at Vishwa Bharati University trigger row. Why? Basically, it is being said that recently UNESCO World Heritage Site tag was given, but rather than the name of Rabindranath, Mr. Shri Rabindranath Tagore here, such the names of uh, Prime Minister and Vice Chancellor have been used. No need to go for exam in this particular article. No need to go in that. Then further, we further then we have world page. On world page, Manila Beijing trade blame over collision in disputed sea. So basically guys, recently we have seen that there is an incident where Chinese vessel, Philippines boat, they have faced a collision near the near the second Thomas Shoal. Okay, so now just they are exchanging allegations on each other that whose fault it was. Okay, just that is the thing here. Okay guys, I hope that now video is clear. There was some issue, connection error that came in between, and because of that, stream got disturbed. Now I hope that sound is clear to you as well as video is also clear to you. Okay. Now starting up again, let's start from where we dropped. I hope that okay, fine. So last article that we have seen in overview was on this world page, then coming to MoneyWise page. So today, as it's Monday, on Monday, business or economy page in Hindu is not published. This MoneyWise page comes. Now, this MoneyWise page usually contains some investment, portfolio management, share market related advices, and therefore most of the time is not relevant. But today there is one relevant article that has come talking about cyber insurance critical for small medium enterprises. We'll take this particular article for examination. Then further moving on, we have sports page here, and then in science page, fine, the science page is there, which comes in last. Okay, many printed papers it might not be there, but in e-paper it comes, how bad genomes provide insight into immunity and cancer. We'll take this particular article for exam. So this is about the entire overview of newspaper. Now let's discuss all these particular articles one by one in detail. Okay, so as I was telling you, you can download this synoptic notes from our Telegram channel. Okay, and link for Telegram is given in description box in YouTube. In this synoptic notes, we start with a GS quotation and then we take up important articles for exam that are there with along with the notes. Now, today we are going to take quotation from Gandhi ji. So Mahatma Gandhi ji says that greatness of humanity is not in being human, but in being humane. Now, being a human, it is a biological characteristic, and there is a no greatness to just to be a human, but greatness lies in being humane. Because in being humane, there needs to be empathy, there needs to be compassion, there needs to be generosity, an attitude of charity. Only when these things are there, it will make a person humane. And therefore, a human and being humane are two different things, and therefore a moral character, an upright character plays a very important role here. You can use this particular idea in GS paper number 4, ethics. Okay, now moving on, and let's take first article for today. So first article that we are going to take up, here we have actually clubbed two articles. One is this: two experiment conducted by ISRO paved way for Gaganyaan test mission. And there is one more article from editorial section, the ascent begins. Both of article talks about recent test flight of Gaganyaan that was conducted by ISRO. Now we are going to see it for GS paper number 3, science and technology, as well as for prelims examination, science and technology will take this particular article. Okay. Now, first of all, let's understand some basic background information and then we'll go in detail in this particular article. So basically guys, ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, have decided to take up Gaganyaan. Now, what is this Gaganyaan? By 2024, aim is to take human space flight in human space flight. We will take up astronauts in space and we will bring them back. And in fact, just couple of days back, Prime Minister had said that after success of Gaganyaan, we will aim to take humans on moon by 2040. We want to take humans on moon by 2040. So basically, manned space flights India is now attempting. First, we'll take humans in space, okay, by 2024, and then we want to take humans on moon by 2040. This is the ambitious goal that has been adopted by Prime Minister. Now for Gaganyaan, what has happened? We are taking up certain experimental flights. And in this particular capacity, what has happened? Just couple of days back, one experimental flight was taken up. Which is test vehicle D1. We have seen this particular thing also on Saturday. Now, what is this test vehicle D1? Now, this particular test flight aimed to check the crew escape system as well as crew escape module. Now, what is this crew escape system or crew escape module? Let me make you understand that in the most simple terms. So basically guys, when now here you can see this particular photograph. Here. Okay. So basically, as Gaganyaan will take up its human flight in 2024. Now, this will be the crew module. This is that particular part of rocket in which astronauts will be contained. It will be pressurized chamber and will mimic human Earth-like conditions. There will be the oxygen and every such conditions will be maintained in this particular capsule. Here, astronauts will be carried. Now, when actual flight will take off in 2024, there might be a possibility that some emergency might develop. And as emergency might develop, we need to ensure that astronauts' safety is intact. So therefore, within the rocket, there is crew escape system that has been deployed. Now, what is this crew escape system? It will eject this particular component, it will eject this particular capsule from the rocket and it will fall back on Earth and its descent will be controlled by parachutes. its descent will be controlled by parachutes. Okay, so to check this particular thing, that whether this crew escape system can eject this component properly, whether this particular component will land safely in the water or not, a test flight was taken up. Test flight was taken up, and this test flight was called as TVD1. This particular test flight was called as TVD1. So basically, what happened? What happened? A launch vehicle was launched. It was a single stage rocket. It carried this particular crew module, okay, and the crew escape system to an altitude of 12 kilometer, to an altitude of 12 kilometer. And after reaching 12 kilometer, that photograph that I showed you, that particular component, it detached and it fell back on earth. It fell back on earth. It got separated. It got separated and reoriented itself before dropping over the Bay of Bengal, and it was slowed by parachutes. Then it dropped in Bay of Bengal, and then what happened? Indian Navy, it hold that Indian Navy rescued that particular capsule. Okay, now this has been a very important part of the test flight. This has been an important component of Gaganyaan mission. Now it has been said that by these small successes, or actually big successes, ISRO is confident that they can take up human space flight in 2024 effectively. And actually, it has been said that by 2040, Prime Minister had said that we aim to launch humans to the moon. So in that particular capacity also, these particular successful experiments give an added layer of confidence. Though this is going to be a very tough fight to ensure that we reach this particular deadline of 2040. Now, article also mentions this particular thing, that this is not the first time that this thing has been done. For Gaganyaan, the preparations have started since 2000. The preparations have started since 2007. Now, actually, what happened? So there was in 2007 already similar kind of experiment we have conducted. So in 2007, ISRO's space capsule recovery experiment was carried. Now, what is this space capsule recovery experiment? So in 2007, an orbiting satellite called SRE, Space Capsule Recovery Experiment, this particular probe was brought back to Earth. Okay, and then what happened? What happened in 2014 also? In 2014 also, an unmanned crew module was launched at a basically it was placed in the space at an altitude of 126 kilometer, and then it was left to descend back, and then it was also rescued. Fine. This test was called as crew module atmospheric re-entry experiment. So in 2007, 2014, we have already taken up this particular experiment, that how successfully we can make and probe land on Earth and can rescue it. So all these are preparations for Gaganyaan that will be held in 2024. So this is, guys, all about this particular article. I hope that you have understood it. And now we'll be moving to next article. How bat genomes provide insight into immunity and cancer. We'll take this particular article for GS paper number 3. GS paper number 3, science, technology, issues related to health, issues related to health. Now, first of all, before going on in this article, let's understand some basic background information. So basically, when we talk about bats, bats happen to be very interesting and fascinating creatures. Interesting and fascinating creatures. When we talk about bats, bats are the mammals which can take sustained flights, many hours continuously flight they can take up. When we talk about bats, they have a very long lifespan. Also, it has been known that bats, they are nearly immune to cancer. Very less type of cancers actually impact bats. Also, when we talk about bats, bats have an ability of echolocation. What is echolocation? Bats actually use sound waves to track their path. Okay, for example, we use our sight, and because of the sight, we are always dependent on light. When light is there, we can see clearly. When light is not there, we cannot see clearly. But bats use echolocation, where they use sound to navigate and locate objects. So their flight, okay, their navigation is never impacted by light. Moreover, when we talk about population of bats is also huge. So around 20% of all mammals population, they are made up of bats. So bats make 20% of mammal population. Also, they play a very important role in environment. So they play a role in pollination, insect control. Okay, but from past few years, bats are in news for all the wrong reasons. What wrong reasons? Many of deadly viruses that have wreaked havoc on Earth, they are found in bats. For example, if we take example of if we take example of Nipah virus, Ebola virus, Marburg virus, Hendra virus, and even coronavirus. Okay, SARS-CoV-2 19, SARS-CoV-2 virus. It was now one thing I want to tell you for SARS-CoV-2, it has not been established that what was from where SARS-CoV-2 came. But up till now, most of the studies they are pointing that SARS-CoV-2 actually came from bats, then in pangolin, it was transmitted. There were some mutation that happened in pangolin, and from pangolin, it came to human. But original reservoir, even of COVID, was bat. So many of these deadly viruses, they are hosted by bat. Now, when we talk about bats, we need to understand this particular thing that bat is hosting all these viruses, but they themselves don't get infected. Bats, they don't themselves don't get infected. So we need to know this particular thing that how this curious protection is there in bat. Now understand this thing. Suppose there is one person, Mr. X, and Mr. X, let's say, get infected with the let's say he get infected with the COVID. Now Mr. X is a carrier of COVID. Mr. X can infect other people. Okay, Mr. X is a carrier, but Mr. X himself is facing many clinical symptoms of COVID. Bat don't face any such clinical symptoms. They don't get infected by COVID. Now, for this particular thing, what has happened, the basically scientists around the world, they want to sequence bats genome. Okay, so entire gene set of bats, entire genome of the bat, they want to investigate and want to find that what thing is actually giving immunity to the bats. And for investigation in the bat genome, there is bat 1K global genome consortium that has been established. What it is doing, it is sequencing all the 1400 species of bat genome. Okay, it is sequencing the bat genome and trying to identify that why the immunity is given. Now, it has been provided, that actually, now understand this thing, when the people get infected by disease, many of the deadly viruses, for example, COVID virus leads to the inflammation into the internal organs of the body. Now, point is that bats, they have developed immunity against such kind of inflammation. So basically, they have antiviral inflammatory response, and because of that, bats are shielded, bats are protected from the deadly effects of these particular viruses. Moreover, it has also been provided that bats, they have a particular quality that their bodies can suppress tumor and can repair the DNA which contained signs of it can repair the DNA from time to time. Because of that particular thing, bats have exceptionally good immunity, and at the same time, they also have significant lower risk of developing cancer. So basically, by investigating the genomes of bat, we can exactly know that what responses or what mutations are there in the bat which are giving them protection. Okay, so by this particular thing, we will be better equipped to fight with these emerging viruses. Okay, so this is something that is going on. Fine, I hope that you have understood it. Now, moving to next article. Okay, cyber insurance critical for small medium enterprises. We'll take this particular article for GS paper number 3, cyber security issues. Okay, MSMEs and MSMEs, how they are getting impacted by cyber risks. Okay, for GS paper number 3, we'll take this particular article. Okay, so basically, when we talk about small, micro, small, medium enterprises, they are actually backbone of Indian economy. They are actually backbone of Indian economy. And in this particular capacity, we find this particular thing that in India, 28% of the GDP, 28% of the GDP is largely contributed by micro, small, and medium enterprises. They are the one which create large number of jobs. Even in GST filings also, MSMEs play a very important role. Now, we need to understand that today, nowadays these MSMEs, they have become susceptible to cyber attacks, and biggest susceptibility of these enterprises is from ransomware attack. Now what is ransomware attack? In ransomware attack, a hacker will hack your computer, will hack your server, and will lock you out from your computer or your server. All information that is there will be locked, and if you want to get that access back, you need to pay them some money, either in the form of Bitcoin or in some other form that they will tell. This type of attack is called as ransomware attack, and many such attacks have been carried on these MSME. And also it has been provided that according to a cyber security firm report by Acronis, it has been said that companies in India, they have reported far more cyber attacks than anywhere else in world. Okay, now point is that government have come out with some important provisions. For example, few months back we have seen that digital personal data protection bill was passed, and it aims to strengthen cyber security, it aims to strengthen data security, data privacy. But problem is that suppose an attack happened on MSME, it lost their data. Now how they will, is there any provision to pay for damages? No, there is no provision for pay for damages. Okay, so in this particular capacity, the role of cyber insurance becomes important. Role of cyber insurance become important. Now, what happened if an SME has taken a cyber insurance, then all the financial losses, systematic losses that have been faced by the firm, they will be covered by these particular cyber insurances. Now we need to understand that these MSMEs are always a very soft target for cyber hackers and cyber criminals. Why? Because these companies, because of their small size, they are not able to invest a lot in cyber security. They are not able to invest a lot in cyber security. They don't have a team of security experts. And because of this particular thing, they always become a soft target. Fine. So therefore, what happens if cyber insurance is provided? If cyber insurance is provided, then any financial loss that has been faced by an MSME because an attack, that loss will be covered. Sometimes because systems were hacked, there is a downtime also that happens. Let's say for 1 week, 10 days, the company might not be able to do their business because their servers are down. In that particular time, whatever financial losses have happened, even that thing will also be covered by cyber insurance. It will also be covered by cyber insurance. So cyber insurance can help to navigate all these risks such as cyber breaches, financial risks. For example, a hacker hacked an MSME's current account and stole 5 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees from that account. Even that particular money cover, financial cover, will be provided by cyber attack. In case of ransomware, if some money has to be paid, that cover will be provided by cyber insurance. If a company's server went down for 1 week or month and they were not able to do business, whatever loss will happen, they will also be covered by the cyber insurance. So this is something which is essential. This is something which is essential for the MSME firms in the present times. Okay, so that is all about it. Now moving on to next article. To curb evasion, European Union report calls for 2% global wealth tax on billionaires. Okay. Now, let's understand this particular article. Guys, first of all, few things I want to tell you. Few things I want to tell you that often you might have heard this particular thing in news that Akshay Kumar has been the biggest taxpayer in India. Sometimes you might have heard this thing. And you might have questioned yourself that Akshay Kumar, a Bollywood actor, is paying more tax, where these industrialists are, who we know for sure are far more rich than Akshay Kumar. Why their names are not coming into the top 5 taxpayers or top 10 taxpayers? Okay. And this is not in India. Even in the Western countries, you see that these billionaires, they are often actually not paying the taxes. Then these billionaires, more taxes are often being paid by celebrities, singers, etc. Why this is the case? You need to understand a particular arrangement behind this particular thing. Basically, most of the time, these billionaires, these industrialists, they are not taking any financial salary, or they are not taking any financial remuneration. Even if they are taking, it is very much less. Large number of their wealth is tied in the form of shares. It is tied into the form of stocks. Now understand this particular thing. Let's say today I have 10,000 shares. Let's say today I have 10,000 shares, and the value of these 10,000 shares is, let's say, 1 lakh rupees. Okay. Tomorrow these 10,000 shares value increases, let's say, 10 lakh rupees. Okay. You find that I have made a 9 lakh rupees, let's say, profit. But I need not to pay any tax. Why? Because tax will be paid when I will sell these shares, then capital gain tax I will pay. Okay. Are you able to understand me or not? Now you need to understand that how these billionaires, they are making their money. So they actually don't take they take salaries, but majority of their wealth, it is tied into the form of assets, and every year remuneration that they are taking, it is also into the form of shares and stocks and such kind of an asset. And because of that particular thing, they said that we have not earned income. Okay. And they don't report that much tax. So now a proposal has been given by Global Tax Evasion Report 2024, and this Global Evasion Tax Report 2024 says that now we need to impose for a global minimum tax on billionaires, which will be equal to 2% of their wealth. 2% of their wealth. Let's say last year the wealth was $100 billion. This year wealth increased to $200 billion. Okay. So basically on the wealth, tax will be paid. Now when we talk about wealth, in wealth, valuation of my shares will also come. Okay. So they are saying that rather than the income tax, which often they evade because they are not taking an income. Okay. They are taking wealth. Fine, they are taking stocks, which is often evaded. They say that we should now move on to the wealth tax of 2% on their wealth. And it has been said that by this particular thing, $250 billion could be mobilized from less than 3,000 individuals. 3,000 individuals. Okay, this is something that has been said. Now it has been provided that the wealth of billionaires have grown at 7% year annually. Their wealth has grown at 7% year annually. Okay. But they have not paid that much taxes. They have not paid that much taxes. Now, in the past, in the past, one mechanism was brought, that is the automatic exchange of bank information. Now under this automatic exchange of bank information, financial organization, they used to exchange the information so that they actually can know about the wealth, about the financial status of an individual. But often we have seen this particular thing, that even on this particular front there are problems. Often often here information is not being shared because often the financial institutions, they don't share information about high net worth individuals for the fear of losing their customer base, moreover, even individuals are not maintaining money in their bank accounts. What they are doing, they are they're shifting their holdings from they are shifting their holdings to the asset classes that are not covered under these agreements, particularly the real estate. So their money is tied in real estate, their money is tied in shares. Okay, all such kind of a things. So rather than tracking income, we need to track their wealth, and on wealth tax needs to be imposed. On wealth, the wealth tax needs to be imposed. Okay, this is an agreement this is an argument that has been made. Moreover, it has been said that actually corporates are taking advantage of many other things also. For example, what happened? Fine, a global minimum tax of 15% on MNCs was adopted in, actually it will be 2021. Okay, a global minimum tax of 15% was adopted in 2021. Now what has happened? Oh, okay, a global minimum corporate tax of 15%. Now what is this particular matter? Basically, many countries, they are called as tax havens, where they are charging very less tax, 2%, 5% of corporate tax. And what happens? Corporates just shift to these countries where effectively they're just paying 2 to 5% tax, and these countries becomes the tax haven. And because of that particular thing, there is a lot of financial, basically this entire arrangement is called as base erosion and profit shifting. Because of this particular thing, countries are at loss. So therefore it was provided that minimum tax, corporate tax, need to be 15%. There should be minimum 15% of corporate tax. If you want to keep it more, you can do this thing, but 15% corporate tax needs to be there. So some countries which are now tax havens, that phenomena will be reduced. Moreover, it has also been provided. For example, moreover, uh, this is something that has been provided. But now, what actually has happened? Corporates, they have started to misuse this provision also. What they are doing? They are actually involving in greenwashing the global minimum tax. Greenwashing the global minimum tax. What they are doing? Actually, they are taking a credits. They are taking credits by saying this particular thing, that our company have invested a lot in solar energy. Our company has invested a lot in clean energy. So by giving an excuse of investment in clean energy, solar energy, what they are doing? They are taking tax credits. They are taking tax inputs. And by these tax credit and tax input, actually they are not paying the taxes. Actually, they are not paying the taxes. Okay. So this is also an abuse that is going on, and we need to reform that also. Okay. So all these particular measures and suggestions have been given. Fine. That is about it. Now, moving to next article. Moving to next article. The course "No fundamental right to marry" is wrong. Okay. So few days back, we have seen this particular ruling that was given by Supreme Court. Supreme Court in Supriya Chakravarti and Abhay Dang versus Union of India case. What is this case? So basically, a petition was filed in the Supreme Court asking right to get married for homosexual people. For homosexual people. Now, when we talk about homosexual people, homosexuality in India has already got decriminalized, but they are not given right to marry. They were not given right to marry. First of all, let me tell you about the brief journey as how homosexuality got decriminalized in India. So there are certain judgments that you need to know. Certain judgments that you need to know. So first of all, okay, okay. So first of all, we have Nas Foundation case of 2009. In this particular case, Delhi High Court decriminalized homosexuality for first time. But this particular judgment was kept aside in the Suresh Kumar Kaushal case in 2013. Now, what happened in Suresh Kumar Kaushal case in 2013? Supreme Court said this thing, that actually it was wrong on the part of Delhi High Court to decriminalize Section 377. This particular thing should have been done by Parliament, should have been done by legislature. So decriminalization that was brought by Naz Foundation case in 2009, it was kept on hold, and again homosexuality became a crime after Suresh Kumar Kaushal case. But then finally, Navtej Singh Johar case judgment came in 2018. And finally, in this Navtej Singh Johar case, Section 377 got decriminalized again. So finally, Section 377, that is homosexuality, it got decriminalized in Navtej Singh Johar case in 2018. Okay. After this, homosexual people, LGBT community, they expected that they will also be allowed to get married. They will also be allowed to get married. But they have not been given that particular right. They have not been given that particular right. In fact, in NALSA judgment of 2014, it has been provided that the people are having right to identify their own gender. For example, a person was born as male but wants to identify as female or any third gender, they can do that particular thing. Even Transgender Person Act of 2019, it has provided procedure for changing one's gender. It has talked about that there should be no discrimination against transgender people, and many such enabling protections have been given. So it was expected that homosexuality got decriminalized in 2018. Transgender Person Act is giving them right to change gender, protection. NALSA judgment talked about that a person can, the person is entitled to identify their own gender. It was expected that even right to marry will be given. So therefore, what happened? Transgender people, LGBT community, sorry, what happened? LGBT community, they applied to court asking that allow us to get married under Special Marriage Act. One thing I want to tell you additionally, in NALSA judgment in 2014, Supreme Court also said this particular thing, that transgender can be used as an umbrella term for all this spectrum, that is LGBTQI. Okay, so that can be used. Supreme Court provided it in NALSA judgment. So homosexual people, okay, LGBT community, they approach the Supreme Court that allow us to get married, and Supreme Court has given its judgment. Supreme Court has given its judgment into the Supriya Chakravarti case. Supriya Chakravarti case, and Supreme Court have denied them right to marry. Supreme Court had said this thing, that there is no fundamental right to marry in India. So marriages within the homosexual people could not be allowed. Marriages within the homosexual people could not be allowed. Now article says that actually it is the violation of Universal Declaration of Human Rights which India has signed. Now Universal Declaration of Human Rights 19 was signed in 1948 and it recognizes certain natural rights, human rights, and India has ratified and signed the Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1948. And this particular declaration provides that men and women of full age without any limitation due to race, nationality or religion have the right to marry. Have the right to marry. So when 1948 UDHR provides it, why Supreme Court has denied it? Why Supreme Court has denied it? So this is something which should not have happened from the behalf of Supreme Court. Okay. In past, many positive fundamental rights under Article 21 has been given. For example, when we talk about right to privacy has been given as a fundamental right under Article 21. So when the horizon of Article 21 fundamental rights has increased so much, why Supreme Court is now not recognizing it? Okay, this is about it. Now, moving on to next article. Moving on to next article. Restoring the ecological health of Himalayas. Okay. Now, this article will see for GS paper number 3, environment. Okay. Now, first of all, guys, you might already be knowing this particular thing that there have been so many catastrophic developments that has happened in Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, such as landslides, cloudburst, uh, flooding. Okay, all these things have happened last year. In Uttarakhand, Joshimath was sinking. Okay, now it has been said that we need to reconsider carrying capacity of Himalayan region. Carrying capacity of Himalayan region. Now, recently, what has happened? Supreme Court of India, in response to a petition, has asked the union government that how to suggest a way forward to measure the carrying capacity of Indian Himalayan region. And in this capacity, union government, the Ministry of Environment has also agreed that yes, there should be a proper assessment of carrying capacity. And in fact, union government has requested the states such as Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand to assess that what is the carrying capacity of their towns and cities. Now, what is carrying capacity? Carrying capacity is the maximum population that can be hosted by a region without any negative impact on its ecosystem, without any negative impacts on its resources. Now, last year what happened? We saw this thing that the Joshimath town, entire town is sinking. Why this town is sinking? Because of excessive development that has happened. So we see that negative impact of high population has been created. Now, so many tourists are going every year to Himalayan region. Okay, it does Himalayan region has that particular capacity to accommodate all these tourists? Does Himalayan region have the capacity to accommodate all development, road widening project that is happening? So carrying capacity is to be calculated, which is the maximum population size that an ecosystem or environment can support, over a period. Okay. Now, it has been provided that in past, many initiatives have been brought by union government. For example, National Mission for Sustaining the Himalayan Ecosystem, Indian Himalayas Climate Adaptation Program, Secure Himalaya Project. Okay. And this recent recommendation on calculating the carrying capacity. All this particular thing has happened. But actually all these particular things might not be successful. Why it might not be successful? Because the same set of people who are responsible for destruction or devastation, they are being made responsible in finding solution. Now you see this particular thing, who is responsible for promoting so much tourism? States are responsible. Who is responsible for carrying up so much of planned development? Government is responsible, and you are asking government to find solution. Fine, this is a very big thing. Then after this particular thing, fine, it has also been provided after this particular thing, it has also been provided that what the issue is. Okay, there is a wider and long term need for assessing the overall sustainability. Okay, overall sustainability. Now in this particular capacity, the expert committee the expert committee should be created and should should dedicatedly be focused on giving the long-term sustainable solutions. But for that thing, will there be a political will? For that particular thing, will there be a political will? So these are some concerns. Now, why we are talking about political will? Basically, these things are going to be the long-term measures. They are not going to show any result in 2 years or 3 years. So their political will's role becomes important. Okay, that is about this article. Then we have this article, have earnings grown post pandemic. So basically, guys, recently periodic labor force survey was recently periodic labor force survey report of 22-23 was released. Now, periodic labor force surveys are carried by NSO, National Statistical Office, under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, and it gives data with respect to employment rate, with respect to the labor force participation rate, and all such things. Now, according to the periodic labor force survey, they have provided this particular thing, that rural women's labor force participation rate, specifically above age 15, it has increased from 19.7% in 2018-19 to 41.5%. Guys, here we are talking about rural women, not all women, rural women. It has increased from 19.7% to 41.5%. But at the same time, it is also being said that you should not be too happy to see that their labor force participation rate only has increased. But also you need to know this particular thing, that much of new employment has been generated in the self-employment, not largely in the formal jobs, Moreover, it has also been said that the number of women working as unpaid family helpers, working in family but not getting any money, their number has increased. Also, it has been provided that number of women working as unpaid helpers, their number increased from 37.9% to 43%. Okay, and at the same time, it has also been said that number of women working in the working in the regular wage work, their number fell from 22% to 16%. Okay. Moreover, wages and earnings have increased, but at the same time, inflation has also been high. So when inflation is high and then your wages are earning, it is very difficult to tell that whether real income has increased or not. Okay, whether real income has increased or not. So therefore, there are many such questions that need to be answered. Now, article, guys, is doing a lot of microscopic analysis. For example, if you see the table, this table's analysis is being done. Regular wage workers, rural, urban, all, real earning in April June 2023 relative to April June 2019. Now you are not required to do too much of microscopic comparison. Okay, because these numbers and datas, by the time you will write your next mains exam, which is nearly 1 year later, these things will be changed, new datas, new numbers will come. Okay, then we have mains practice question for today. So question reads, it is crucial to balance between human activities and the preservation of a natural ecosystem to ensure long-term sustainability. Discuss in the context of Himalayan region. So this will be GS paper number 3, 10 marker question. Okay, so that is all, guys, about it. And with this, we come to an end to the today's session. Fine, guys, I hope that you have understood it. Okay, now we'll be meeting day after tomorrow, because tomorrow newspaper will not be published, as I have shown you in the first page. Fine, that because of the Ayuddha Puja, tomorrow will be the holiday. Okay, so as we see here, okay, fine. So that is, guys, about it. Now we'll be meeting day after tomorrow. Till then, please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much.